let's move on to our big piece of news, I guess, university wide here is we've got beer. Jack Trice Stadium and Hilton Coliseum are both going to be selling beer this upcoming year. From what I understand from the release that Jay Pollard had sent out, they're going to have a beer garden out front on the north side of the stadium, and then they're also going to have beer sales basically at each corner, at each end of each concourse, essentially, to keep them away from the normal concessions and hopefully try to spread the crowd out a little bit, and so it's not quite so backed up. Unfortunately, like Jack Trice Stadium's concourses probably need to be widened at some point. So like they need to, there will probably want to be future renovation to accommodate this a little bit better and stuff like that. But as it currently stands, that's probably a good place to start. I think, that it's a fairly conservative approach to it right away, so they don't overwhelm themselves. But we finally got what we've been asking for forever. Just, it's fun.
Yeah.
We saw last year at the Dublin game that Iowa State fans can and will make some tremendous beer cup snakes. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see how long it takes to drink the city of Ames out. I know Iowa State fans did it one day for the Liberty Bowl back in, what was that, 2016, 2017?
2017, yep.
17, yeah. Drank Memphis out of that. But yeah, I've heard a lot of people are excited about this. I got a coworker at work that was saying it's about 25 years too late.
Yeah. The other part of this too is they also, as kind of part of the conditions, that fans can no longer leave at halftime to go back out to their tailgate and do whatever. And I'm a big fan of that. Because to me, I've always felt that leaving at halftime was kind of lame. It's like, if you're not back like in your seat by the time the third quarter starts, I don't know. I'm in the fan that's casual fan behavior, and that's the behavior of a fan base that got used to doing that when football was terrible. But Iowa State has good football now, so
yeah.
I'm not really. I was never the kind of person that did that anyways. But yeah, I'm very happy with this rule change.
Yeah, here are the 10 main points that was in the letter. So no re-entry, 21 years of old, obviously. 2 alcoholic beverages per person per sale. Beer, wine, and prepackaged cocktails. Sold in the north-south expanded gates, and then the north and south concourses, not in the concession stands, like you said before. And then not on the grass hillsides, which I thought was also interesting.
That's smart, because if people are drinking out there,
families.
Well, and it's like, if people are drinking out there and someone slips and gets hurt, that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. So,
not sold by vendors within the seating areas. Stop times for the sale of the sale. So you can't be going halfway through the fourth quarter. Yeah. And then current alcohol policies for the end zone club, suites, Johnny's, and other areas are unchanged. And then a portion goes to alcohol education, student wellness programming, and public safety enhancements. All in all, I think they said it was supposed to net around $1 million, I think, which
I think that'd be great. If
be an understatement.
They can get there,
yeah,
perfect. Like, I mean, just with the way things are, like, any dollar helps. Like, any amount of profit helps. Dukster's here. Go seconds what I missed. We just talked about Iowa State flipping Braylon Lane, the receiver from Houston. He was committed to Houston. And he's from Houston, and flipped him to Iowa State. So took the hometown kid away from the Cougs and bringing him up to Ames. Nice player. Now we're just talking Iowa State getting beer in Jack Trice Stadium and Hilton Coliseum, which, we've the over at CF After Dark / the artist formerly known as Water at 90 Light, we're talking forever. We were campaigning forever to get beer in the stadium. And we heard for years and years and years that from Jamie Pollard, so like, it'll never happen while I'm here, all this. And see, like, he called not selling beer having the moral high ground. He called people that wanted that he was essentially called them slobs, and that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And I've heard from people, and I can't remember if Jamie actually himself said that, but it was that the anti-beer sentiment was more so reflective of other people in the university than Jamie. I'm a touch dubious of that, because like, even if like it was Wendy that said, nope, don't want beer, we're not doing it or whatever, Jamie didn't have to go and say, well, we want to keep the moral high ground, or he did not have to call Ohio State fans slobs.
No,
like that's like, he didn't need to do any of that, which makes me believe that if he's saying that like it wasn't him, that's, I don't know. It feels like he's trying to deflect, and he's trying to pivot or deflect now that alcohol is legal. He wants to be able to say, look, I supported it the whole time. I was never against it. Yeah, whatever. I mean, I don't want to I don't want to get on him too much, because we're doing it now. So like, I'm not, there's no reason to bitch about not having it anymore. But it's just kind of a funny thing to happen, is like, when the rubber meets the road and Iowa State needed to, can use another revenue source. Yeah. Turns out selling beer is not such a bad thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It'll be cool to see how it turns out.
I mean, it'll be stadium prices. It'll be $15 for a beer or something like that. It'll be an expensive beer, but I guarantee you people will still buy them. And like, people buy $15 beers at baseball games all day. They'll buy one every single inning if they have to. Like, people will buy plenty of beer during the games. And so, I think it'll make plenty of money. I would guess they'll probably fairly quickly hit their $1 million profit on that. I think it will be a good thing. I know that there's like, well, if they're already drinking a lot tonight, they're drinking in the game. It's like, yeah, but they're also not leaving to go take 4 shots at halftime or something like that. And if they know that they can get beer inside, then they're not getting hammered necessarily ahead of time. They might drink less ahead of time, knowing that they can get beer inside, that type of thing. And there's just natural things that kind of self-regulate a little bit when you have a regulated alcohol system there too. And maybe people will be less likely to sneak in shooters of Fireball and shit like that. Or if you're a culture person, they Prairie Fire Cinnamon Whiskey from Iowa Distilling. Not a sponsor of this channel, but I did get to meet Kyle though over down there, and he's good. He's a good dude. How
was the book signing down there last week?
That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Got to go down there and talk to a lot of people. Had a fun Q&A session there. Got to tell my story about the dumb fucking Jalen Coleman lands bullshit back in 2019. And which was that was a whole fucking escapade. Yeah. But anyway, but that was a fun event down there too. But anyways, knowing that you can get drinks in the game, maybe people will bring in less. They'll bring in less shots of alcohol. They won't sneak in as much. They won't sneak in as much booze. They might not leave at halftime to drink a bunch more booze. They'll just stay in there. They'll buy your $15 beers, and obviously beers are a lot. When you have large volume of beer, that's a lot easier to control your intoxication levels than it is if you're taking shots of vodka or something like that. Like you're naturally going to be able to regulate behavior a little bit better with beer than clear alcohol. And I think they said they would have pre-mixed cocktails and stuff like that, but those will still be lower alcohol and stuff like that too. So overall, I think it's a home run. They'll make plenty of money both at football and basketball games. I think it's a tremendous win.
Did they mention if it's for other sports too, so like volleyball, wrestling?
I would doubt it, because I think they want to make sure that if they're selling beer, that they can sell it to a full stadium or a full arena. And like, no disrespect to volleyball or women's basketball or anything like that, you cannot guarantee full arenas for volleyball or women's basketball or soccer or anything like that. You can't, like, especially like soccer or something like that. Like, you can't justify getting all the equipment out there and paying a couple people to run the beer stand, stuff like that. Like, it's just not going to be worth it for other sports. And maybe they'll do it probably just for football and men's basketball this year. If it goes incredibly well and it goes gangbusters, maybe you see it at women's basketball, but I don't think you would see it expand beyond that. Maybe wrestling. But I think they would want to do it as a pilot at football and men's basketball first, see how it goes, see what kind of, how much trouble it's worth type of thing. And then maybe expand to women's basketball and or wrestling.